Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm a Ukrainian Canadian. Today is March 10th, 2024, and let's get to the news happening in Ukraine, shall we? So it's going to be a very brief video, and first I'm going to discuss the series of drone attacks that Ukraine initiated over this weekend on multiple Russian targets. And the biggest one, I think, is in the city of Taganrog, which is not too far away from Ukraine. And basically, we can confirm today that the Ukrainians managed to hit the aviation plant that is situated in the city. And this was with a series of drone attacks. Reportedly, over 50 of them were used, not only in Taganrog, but other targets in Russia. But the bulk of these attacks were on the aviation plant. What is interesting, and the reason I think why the Ukrainians attacked this aviation base, and there's more and more confirmation coming out now, this is the latest satellite image from yesterday. So you can see that they managed to hit the main building of the aviation plant and also the hangar. And there was a satellite image of February 29th in showcasing that there was an A-50 parked right over here where there's the blue dot. And most likely the Russians moved this A-50. So this is the super spy plane that the Russians have been utilizing. They've lost quite a few of them since the beginning of this year. So most likely that they were rushing to repair an A-50 to get it flying as quickly as possible, because the Ukrainians have been reporting that they have not been seeing any A-50 since the downing of the last one about 2 weeks ago. So most likely that this A-50 was located inside of the hangar, and you can see that there is a strike, like a burn mark on the roof of the hangar. So most likely that they managed to damage the A-50 to a certain extent. The level of damage we don't know yet, but we can confirm with certainty that these were positive and effective hits on the aviation plant. So we'll see, but yet again it shows that the Russians are unable to control the airspace and defend their skies in Russia. And just to give you some perspective in terms of where Taganrog is located, you can see how close Taganrog is actually to Ukraine and Donbass. So the airfield or the aviation plant in question that was hit is actually located in the outskirts of the city, right around here. So you can see that this corresponds with the two buildings, so the main hangar and the building of this aviation plant. So excellent hit by the Ukrainians, and this wasn't the only hit that Ukraine successfully targeted over this weekend. So there's also reports today that in St. Petersburg, there is an airfield. Now, it's not confirmed which one exactly, but an airfield very close to the city of St. Petersburg, and some hangars are currently on fire due to a Ukrainian drone attack. So the civilian airplanes that are flying have been told to reroute and fly elsewhere, and actually, arrive elsewhere than in St. Petersburg, because the skies are not clear. So Ukraine's intensifying, essentially, I think, their drone strikes, considering, as I've mentioned Friday, that the Russian elections are going to be very, very soon. Again, we know that they're going to be rigged, and this is just a formality for Putin to pass through. But yet again, it's making Putin look like a fool, because, he needs to go out there. He needs to give interviews. He needs to be present. He can't be hiding. This is a process where he needs to legitimize his reign again, and he needs to be out there physically present. And so when you're seeing, aviation plants being destroyed, when you're seeing airfields on fire and hangars on fire, the Russians have a lot of questions that are unanswered. And there is a distance when they're being told that everything is going according to plan, the special military operation is doing great, and yet Russia has been struck by multiple Ukrainian drones on a daily basis. So this is very positive. And the other positive news is that in Khanty-Mansi region, so this is close to Siberia in Russia, we had some beautiful footage of another smoking incident, and most likely that this is the result of a gas pipeline bursting. This is a very oil and gas-rich territory, and I even remember watching a documentary about Khanty-Mansisk, which is a city in this okrug, this province of Russia, which really reaped the benefits of the resources of oil and gas that they found during the Soviet Union there. So it's a very, very resource-rich region, and it's good to see that these pipelines, these refineries, hopefully are bursting. This could be the result of either lack of maintenance. We know that the Russians right now are prioritizing their special military operation Ukraine, and that means less men, capable tradespeople that can maintain these pipelines and these massive refineries and plants. Or it could very well be a sabotage mission by the Ukrainians, who knows? Or it could be just a smoking accident. So either way, this is going to hurt the Russian coffers and their revenue streams. And last but not least, this is also very positive because a lot of people keep talking about, oh, Russia has a great defense industry. But what they don't realize is, why is Russia capable of continuing right now with its war in Ukraine is because they're removing actually their reserves. They're not producing anything new. They're only modernizing their old Soviet stocks. And this has been confirmed by the Institute of Study of War, but I think most of us have already known this for a very long time. And open source researchers have analyzed satellite imagery and concluded that Russia has removed between 25 to 40% of its strategic tank reserves, depending on the model, from open air storage facilities. And you know that because most of these tanks have also been sitting outside for decades, you know, even a good percentage of them are not even salvageable at this point. So we need to remember that Russia doesn't have the industry capability to build modern tanks and armored vehicles from the ground up. I mean, the latest example is the Armata development, the new generation main battle tank, which Russia just dumped because apparently it's too expensive, but also because Russia doesn't have the industry to build it by itself, right? It relies heavily on outside components and sources, and I think that the Russian defense understood that, well, it's too much of a critical situation for them to invest billions and billions of dollars on tanks, and new plants, and just the whole, the whole sort of industry necessary to maintain this. And they would rather just salvage and modernize their old Soviet stocks. That includes the T-54s, T-55s, T-62s, 64s, T-72s, right? And let's face it, the T-90 is just a heavily modernized T-72. So honestly, Russia just doesn't have any innovation left. And their innovation has been degraded since the Soviet Union fell apart. And all of these plants, these industries just fell to the ground and were essentially, destroyed by the oligarchs. So, this is about the only thing Russia has left is just modernizing their old Soviet stocks. And according to these open source researchers, Russia still has about, unfortunately, 2 years left, because let's remember that in the Soviet Union, they produced these tanks, these BTRs, these BMPs like no tomorrow in massive, massive quantities. So unfortunately, Russia still has a lot of them that they can modernize, but it's becoming more and more critical as the days go by. So Ukraine has an opportunity right now to absolutely destroy everything that Russia has. And so this is a golden opportunity for Ukraine. And that's why, as I've shared with you guys yesterday, the comment by the Pope saying that Ukraine should have the courage to wave the white flag and start negotiations. This is such a mistake if the Ukrainians fall for that. And I don't think any Ukrainian believes that this is something that they should do anymore. I think it's a golden opportunity to really get rid of Russia's military power, and then the collapse will happen from within. Once there's a collapse from within, Ukraine will have the capacity to regain its territories that they've lost due to the Russian occupation, invasion of Ukraine. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, let me know what you guys think about any of the topics I covered today in the comment section. A huge thank you for your support for this channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Slava Ukraini!